Mastermind. Welcome to the call. I appreciate you guys being here, and I appreciate being a part of your lives. Hope everybody had an amazing weekend, and I got an awesome class plan for you guys, and this is one of the ones that I love because it really lets you figure out where your bottleneck is. And every business on planet Earth has a bottleneck, and we're going to kind of break it up for you as in real estate terms. There's three parts to your real estate business, which is your sales process, your support team and staff, and your fiscal responsibility. We're going to cover your sales process today. The team and staff are a whole different other class, and the fiscal responsibility is totally a different class. We've known people to close a lot of loans and close a lot of real estate transactions and not make any money. So we'll be covering that here in the near future, along with your team and staff, and how to find team and how to find staff and how to find virtual assistants and all the stuff that you shouldn't be doing in another class. So today we're going to focus on the sales process, which has four parts to it, which are traffic, relationships, call to action of the offer, and the follow-up. We're going to hit those really hard and give you some ideas and then help you to find out where that bottleneck is. So the question is, where is the bottleneck? And the four parts of the sale is the getting of the traffic. So kind of to break this down, where does your business come from? Who are you talking to is kind of where the traffic comes from. Or do you have buyer leads coming in, seller leads coming in, referrals from your past database, referrals from your current database? We're going to go into that. And then the relationships. Are they coming to you? Do you have traffic coming in? And are the relationships that coming in, the referrals coming in, are they staying with you and working with you, or are they going elsewhere? So we'll work on that a little bit. And then the call to action, you have to absolutely positively, I think this is where a lot of us fail, is you have to be asking for the sale. Kevin is a dear friend of mine who's on the call with us today, is going to cover a very important part about all four of these. And then the last one, of course, is follow-up. What are we doing to follow up? We're going to give you some ideas on how to do that, some ways to do it, and then how to build more clients and referral partners and past database to send you more referrals. So we'll cover that as well. And so the traffic is the main source of the leads. And Kevin Broughton, welcome to the call, brother. How you doing?
I'm great, my friend. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. So Kevin and I have been partners. God, man, has it been 3.5, 4 years now? I don't even know. It's been a long time, and it was a great day. It was a great day the day we met, man. And Kevin, you know what? I'm going to let you tell him the background that you have, but he's got an awesome track record in background. So, Kevin, why don't you introduce yourself before we get started here, and just so they know who they're talking to.
Great. Thank you so much, Scotty, for having me. I totally appreciate it. Yeah, and thanks to everyone who took the time out to get on this call. I've been just celebrated my 20th full-time consecutive year in the real estate or mortgage business, and also have a little bit of a background in the title insurance arena, so I've really touched on or worked directly in all three of the industries that impact a home sale. And so I appreciate your willingness to have me on the call today, Scotty, and I look forward to it.
Absolutely, man. Good stuff. So I know that you kind of came to me and said, "Hey, Scott, why don't we cover the bottleneck strategy that we talk about so often with our people that we're trying to help to have a better business?" And the one question that always comes up is, where is your bottleneck? And everybody has one. And so as we're going through this, kind of like go, all right, where is mine? And then how can I take some of these strategies to increase either the traffic, the relationships, more relationships? How do I input the call to action, and how do I increase the follow-up, which if you think about, Kevin, I kind of tore this apart when you put this together and sent this over to me, and I said, you know what, they all kind of feed on each other. If you have one, you have, if you have follow-up, you have almost a call to action, because now you get warm leads coming in. If you have call to action, you build, you get more business. If you have relationships, you have follow-up. It kind of all feeds on each other. So it's pretty cool in that respect. So what you brought up, one of the big things that you brought up was the open house strategy. You want to talk a little bit about that and how that could be a huge factor? And I think when a lot of people talk about open houses, they think, no way in heck am I doing an open house and sitting in an open house and nobody stopping by. So you want to cover that for us?
Sure. Let me just quickly talk about the bottleneck first, as you referenced a minute ago. And
Sure.
I think when you look at the 4 points of your business, obviously you've outlined them here as traffic, relationships, a call to action, and follow-up. And when we talk about bottleneck, what we've experienced in our own personal business and helping other folks over the years is that, at least in the businesses we've helped, they all have a bottleneck in one or multiple of these areas. And so what we've learned is if you can break through that bottleneck and have a different path so that it doesn't clog up your business, the financial results are often much, far superior than if you don't remove that bottleneck. So we'll get into the open house, but you had talked about traffic. And when we talk about traffic, we're really talking about filling the funnel. We are all sales professional, and our job is to create, keep, or grow a client every day at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you sell real estate or widgets or pencils or whatever else. Our job is to create, keep, or grow a client. And I think the age-old problem that existed when I was a realtor also exists today, and that is, do we really have strategic plans for our business? Do we have any inkling of what our month is going to look like on the first of the month? Do we have a plan that's going to guarantee that revenue-producing activities take place throughout the week at scheduled times? And as you and I both know, and we've fallen, we've been guilty of this as well, Scotty, both you and I on a regular basis, is the implementation of a strategic plan to ensure that you have traffic. There's nothing worse being a residential realtor than sitting around your office on a Tuesday afternoon at 3 in the afternoon with nothing to do. And so
Right.
if you can't create traffic on a regular and repeatable basis, it's going to be hard to create regular and repeatable income. Would you agree?
100% agree. And one other thing I want to add to that you and I have implemented that's been kind of fun is to have an accountability partner. When we go, all right, what is the bottleneck? One of the things we've done is go, all right, let's find an accountability. Let's go, all right, what's the plan? How are we going to do one of these 4? How are we going to get more or do more? And then
Right.
How are we going to hold each other accountable? And one of the fun things we do is we find someone that we go, all right, I'm going to write you a check. And if I don't do what I say I'm going to do to accomplish this result, you get to cash that check. And that's
Right.
been kind of fun because now we're like held to the fire, so it's pretty cool. But yes, 100%. I love the best part is create, keep, or grow a client. That's really the focus of today is the bottom line.
Well, and so you and I started talking about open houses, and I shared with you a recent experience that I witnessed in my neighborhood, recently, last Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, I guess the point is, who would want to go sit in an open house for 3 hours on Sunday, prepare for it, drive to it, put the signs up, put the signs down, which now makes it a 4 to 4.5 hour day, depending on where the listing is, and have no one show up? If you value your time at a monetary amount, which I know you and I talk about regularly, and we try to set a dollar amount on what an hour of our time is worth, and I'm sure every realtor on this call does the same thing, why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. And what we talked about is, regardless of which paths you pick to create traffic, why not do them to the best of your ability and increase your odds of that traffic existing? And so you and I've learned so much from you over the years about social media. I knew nothing about social media 5 years ago, and still am far in second place to you right now. But the ability to use social media to market your open house is an underutilized avenue that people don't use either enough or properly. And I know you've taught an entire class on how to use Facebook properly where you're not annoying people. But
Right.
Facebook is just one social media outlet out of 11 or 12 that you use and 6 or 7 that I use that, done properly, will help create traffic. And so when we look at marketing the open house, we've talked about the Pick Your Neighbor program. How many people have actually gone up and down the street, old school, and knocked on doors and said, hey, we're holding an open house here. Don't know if you have an opportunity to stop by. I've got a wonderful home for sale, and love it if you knew anyone, friends, family, anyone in your center of influence that you'd love to see as your neighbor, please stop by and have a peek at the house with a specific business card designed just with the address on it. We've talked about many different strategies to drive traffic to an open house. So I don't care if anyone does open houses or not. Some people think they're a waste of time. Some people tell me they get 50% of their annual business directly from open houses. But the people that are reaching those results are doing things differently to drive traffic. And I guess at the end of the day, what you and I spend a lot of time on is only doing functions of marketing that produce a result. So try them, and if they fail, try it a different way, and if they fail, try it a different way, and if it fails, stop doing that activity. But to not have a plan, stick a sign in the ground at 5 to 1, be unprepared, sitting in their family room and praying to the Lord that someone shows up, that's really not a way to increase traffic in a strategic fashion. That's just a hope and a prayer, luck of the draw type of thing. And we're trying to minimize people's, falling into a deal. Because sure, do you fall into a few deals a year? I do every year. But is that the crux of my business? Heck no, it isn't, And so
one thing you brought up that's important is a lot of people hope, I think you brought up and it's important, is that people hope that someone stops by. And if you don't do anything proactive to let people know you're going to be there or have the open house, which I'm sure a lot of you people do stuff, but to go knock doors, like you said, and say, hey, we're having an open house, stop on by, we're having, I got cookies and bread, and maybe have a cookout or have fun with it, because really what it boils down to, for me personally, yes, I told the seller that I would do open houses. 2 is the only way to market that home and get more people into the home is to have something exciting for them to come to and let them know that it's open. Because, you got nosy neighbors. How often do you see it where one home goes for sale and then all of a sudden 2, 3, 4, 5 pop up in the same subdivision? It's just typical. It's how it happens.
Well,
and
we
if
have that
you are
friend we
marketing
talked
that,
to.
yeah.
Remember that friend we just talked to, that they brought a realtor from their office who had never sold a home before to sit in the house on Sunday, and they did the whole neighborhood thing? And
Correct.
They got the next 2 listings in that sub. The first home didn't even sell, but they got the next 2 listings in that sub, and they said it was a direct result of them walking the neighborhood during the open house while they sat the newer agent in there and said, if anyone walks in while I'm out in the street, you can have them. Well, that was an interesting strategy, and it worked for them. So I guess you mentioned the word creativity, and I think that's where, one of the things we're talking about is you want to impress your sellers, you want to expose their house to the highest number of people humanly possible, but if you're going to do the open house where you just put no thought into it prior to, if it's not on a traffic street, if it's not, properly or easily findable, you're not going to love the results. And that's why most people stop doing open houses, and they tell the seller, oh, open houses never sell houses, right?
Right.
But done properly with some fun, with some creativity and some forethought and some actual marketing dollars spent, we've met many, many agents that still sell a large number of homes off of open houses. So I wouldn't abandon the open house idea. I would change the frame of reference on which you do open houses to include creativity and some different marketing. And we could get into all specifics as to what, but that would be a class in and of itself.
Absolutely. And then when you talked about teach classes, with your local professionals, CPAs, financial planners. I know a financial planner of mine always is connecting himself with different professionals in the industry to teach classes, first-time homebuyer seminars, just different things that get you in front of people. Really what it boils down to is back to this build more relationships. The more people you get in front of, the more people you build relationships with, the more you follow up with them and build deep relationships and have a call to action. We're going to talk about that in a second. The more business you're going to have. There's no question about it. So hey, Kevin, I love how you brought this up today. What's the best real estate marketing strategy?
Well, it's funny because that's been an old joke of yours and mine for a while, but the answer is the one you'll actually do. Because we get bombarded with 8 million different tools, tips, and strategies on how to grow your business, and a lot of them have tremendous merit. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to which one are you going to do every day? Which one are you going to keep doing until you break through, not before you break down? How many people do you and I know personally that have broken down before they broke through, and they were right at the cusp of breaking through, and then they just said, forget it, And so I always looked at, you remember the guy that, will obviously remain nameless, but we paid him over $1 million in commissions 5 consecutive years. He sat in the office right next to me. And I used to think, is he a better realtor than the guy down the hall or the gal down the hall? Does he list a home better? Does he show a home better? The answer was no. It's just 98 out of 100 people that walked out of the local grocery store knew who he was. And
yeah, that's it.
He created traffic. He was visible. He was exceptionally visible, and he had a strategic plan every day to grow the number of people that knew what he did for a living. And that's when you can sell 250 and 300 homes a year. But when you're, if no one knows what you do. So the traffic creation is the most important part of the sale, because without traffic, it doesn't matter how good you are at building relationships, it doesn't matter what your call to action is, and it doesn't matter if you have good follow-up or not, because there's no one to follow up with. So you and I have focused the last 4 or 5 years of our lives exclusively on getting great at creating traffic. And when you do that, there's so many benefits that come from it. Some of us on this call have to take an overpriced listing by $100,000 because we need that sign in the yard, and some of you don't. And some of you have to work with a buyer that might be unrealistic in their expectations and want to see 100 homes, and some of you don't. And it all comes from a position of strength. And so as you increase the traffic, it gives you a tremendous amount of freedom. Look at the business you and I are in, Scotty, and we're able to truly seek out the best possible people to work out. Why? Because we have traffic, right?
Right. Jeff is asking a great question here, and I love this question, Kevin. He says, what do you say on social media about open houses? And here's the cool part about that. How many, and Kevin, you brought this up the other day, it's like, how many friends do you have on Facebook? And I would ask the seller this. So, Kevin, as a seller, hey, Kevin, how many friends do you have on Facebook? The
312.
average, 312 people. So here's what I'm going to do, Mr. Seller. I'm going to create an event. I'm going to make this open house an event on Facebook, and here's what you need to do. You need to, 1, invite all of your friends to this event. Whether they join or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is, like, they were invited. If they say, yeah, I'll join or whatever, or maybe they'll come, maybe they won't, but it's not a big deal. And just say, hey, I would really appreciate your help in letting as many people know that my home is for sale, and here's a little bit about my home. And we're going to cover some ways to market that in a more greater detail. But involving the seller, because the seller probably, if they have 300 friends, their 300 friends times 1 friend each, which we know is on average 223 friends, it gets people talking, and people love to help people. So your friends love to help you. Whether it's only 50 of those friends that actually know, like, and trust you, that's 50 more friends that now know your home is for sale, and maybe they've had a conversation with somebody that wanted to move into that neighborhood. So the more exposure, more people, you're the one running the event or the page on Facebook. So that's just one way. 2 is just letting your friends know that your home is for sale by either private message, by phone call, by email, by text message, different ways to let your family know that your friends and family know that your home's for sale, because everybody wants to, hey, I'd appreciate a little help letting as many people know my home is for sale. Here's what it is. Here's a link to it. Here's a single property website to it, blah, blah, blah. That's one way.
And Scotty, can I jump in too with that answer with Jeff?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Remember that realtor we just recently were with, and the gal said, one of the cool she said, she asked the client to write a very short story, but the client in this particular case wrote something like, hey, friends, it's time to, 3 of the 5 have flown the coop. With 3 of my 5 children now out of college and moved on with their professional life, we have no need for this 5-bedroom home anymore. It's produced the greatest memories ever, and our family loved living in this great neighborhood. It was an advertisement, basically, for the neighborhood and the house. And that person posted it, and I've heard 300 friends, I think she got like 91 people say, oh, my God, where are you moving to? And it just started conversation.
Exactly.
And then she typed in, they asked something specific about the house, and then this and that. And then that realtor was following back up with those people and said, hey, I'm listing the home of so-and-so, and I saw, that you wanted me to, or you asked for this answer. I hope you got the right answer. It just gave them more opportunities to hit up people on social media. So it was more about a strategy than a specific line.
Letting people know. Just letting people know. That's all it is, yeah. So I'll cover the sniper script strategy really quick, and Kevin shared this with me a long time ago, and it's so simple. So what if, I'm working with a couple agents right now just to kind of walk through, they're looking to grow their business and help their real estate agents. So here's the sticky note strategy. So you call a past client and say, Kevin, when you, this is the best story. So when you pick up the phone, a lot of people go, well, I haven't talked to him in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. So, Kevin, When you, this is the best story. So you bought your car, and you had your car for I don't know how many years, 2 or 3 years, 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
How long did you have your car before that guy called you?
I don't know.
2
years about.
2 years. So he called you up. What do you like? Go over that script of what happened to you that had you driving away with a new car.
Well, it was just ironic, and you and I laugh about it because this guy had never called me before, and I didn't even remember his name, to be quite honest with you. And he called me up and he said, "Hey, it's so and so from the Infiniti dealership." And I said, "Oh, how are you?" I said, "Great." He said, "I sold you an Infiniti 4 years ago." And I said, "Yes, you did." And I haven't talked to the guy in 4 years, and he says, "Well, what are you driving?" I said, "I'm driving a Buick." He's like, "A Buick? What are you driving a Buick for?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. It was a great deal," and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, "Well, why is that important to you?" And I said, "Oh, at the time, I wanted a great deal." And he's like, "You still want a great deal?" And I said, "I always love a great deal." Long story short, we ended up staying on the phone 10 minutes. The guy said, "Come see me." I went over there that night and ended up giving him my Buick, which was still had 7 months to go on the lease, I think, and driving out in a brand new Infiniti. And I hadn't talked to this guy in 4 years, and so I guess the point was, I don't know if he had been embarrassed to call me because he never touched base with me in 4 years or not, but I remember in my days as a realtor, I used to worry about what to say to people, like call them and say what? Hi, I sold you a house 4 years ago. Do you want to move? I've never talked to you since. And I was always probably embarrassed to call. But, go ahead with the sniper because that might be a good way to call.
It's this simple. So you pick up the phone, you call them up, and I'm just going to pretend, Kevin, you're the client that I've sold a home to 4 years ago, okay?
Yep.
Kevin, hey, this is Scott Utspath with ABC Real Estate. How you doing, man? Remember I sold you your home about 4 years ago? And no, I don't remember you. Whatever. Of course they'll remember you, right?
Uh-huh.
Say, hey,
I remember you.
Kevin,
I remember you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hey, Kevin, I had a sticky note here on your file. I was just going through my files, and man, I just want to tell you how it said I had a little sticky note that said how awesome you guys were to work with, and I just wanted to call and say I really appreciate you, and it was so awesome working with you guys. And man, if I could hit the universal reset button and only work with people like you, man, my life would be so amazing. So how are you guys? How's the family?
Oh, we're doing great.
Family's
the kids are getting older, and everyone's doing good.
Awesome. So you guys do anything for the 4th of July? You guys have fun? You guys go anywhere, see the fireworks?
Yeah. Yep, we went away for a whole week.
Awesome, man. Hey, well, I don't want to take up any more of your time, so I just want to call and say I really appreciate you guys, and it was so awesome working with you guys. By the way, Kevin, do you know any of your friends, family, or coworkers that may be looking to buy or sell their home?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone right this second, but I do remember you did a good job for us, and so I wouldn't mind, referring people to you. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, let me give you my number. It's 269-555-1212. Hey, Kevin. Can I ask you something? Can I count on you to send me your friends, family, and coworkers if you ever hear them talking about buying or selling a home? Can I count on you for that?
Yeah, sure. You did a good job for us. Yeah. All right.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Hey, I appreciate you, man. And you and your family have a good rest of the summer, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, take care,
and then
man.
you just put them on a 3-month. You put them on a 3-month circular. You call them up. You say, hey, how's it going? I talked to you 3 months ago, or whatever it is. Hey, I appreciate you guys. How's it going? You just have the frog conversation. Family, recreation, occupation goals. It works every time. And the only way to get good at it is to practice. Practice yourself. Practice with your family. Practice with your kids. Practice with your wife, your husband. Just get good at having that conversation. It's so easy to do, and we're going to cover that here in a second. But other ways, too, is just be a part of people's lives on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. You shared that with us, Kevin. So I want to, just to keep it moving along, I want to get into, I thought I had these popping up, but there we go. 10 more ways that I wanted to share with that we're not going to cover today, but I wanted to bring up. Share your listings on social media. We shared that. Promote on real estate aggregator sites, Trulia, Zillow, which a lot of the sites automatically do that. A big one, a big one is create a video tour and start branding yourself on YouTube. I can't believe when I was playing around on this weekend, I was just playing around with always searching for stuff, and YouTube videos always come up when somebody has done a YouTube video in regards to what I'm searching for. So YouTube, like when people are looking for homes and you got a 3-bedroom home for sale in YouTube, the chance of that coming up, I don't know if you know this, but 3-bedroom home is the #1 search site thing when people are looking for a home, 3-bedroom home. Enhance your listing with additional information. Blog about it. You know, if you're blogging, just think about all this stuff if you're doing it. Here's the crazy part that Kevin brought up. He goes, Scott, you don't even need to be the one doing like if you do the virtual tour, like someone else can do that. Someone else can promote your listing. Someone else can share your listing on your social media. It doesn't have to be you. Someone else can blog for you as you. Feature your listing on your homepage. Get a mobile site. Create a single property website. Use a paid search advertising where, like, a lot of time, I don't know if you know this, we'll do a class on this, and I've done a class on this in the past. You can do a Facebook ads where if people click on it, they go to a landing page or an email, like a drip campaign or something like that, where they opt in to get more information about values of homes in their area, so that you only pay if they click on it, but then they see you, they see, holy crap, they're everywhere on Facebook. So those are just 10 ways that you could do that. So building relationships. You want to talk about this, Kevin?
Sure. You know, obviously, we're in the referral business. We need to get referred by people that know us, like us, and trust us, and you can't get people to know you, like you, and trust you if you don't take an active interest in them. And so,
right.
You know, you and I do the FROG thing every day, and FROG is for family, recreation, occupation, and goals. And so in every conversation that you and I have, whether it be with someone we already know, like, and trust, or someone that we just met, we try to talk about family, recreation, occupation, and goals, because that's what most people want to talk about. And so for us, it's being great listeners, it's remembering what they said, and it's doing those little tiny things. If someone says they love golf and you find a great golf deal, you always put it on their Facebook and say, hey, I remember you told me how much you love golf and are passionate about it. I just saw this 2 for $99 package, and this golf course is unbelievable. And the people love when you do little things like that. And so at the end of the day, he or she that sells the most houses really is the one that has the most relationships. And so we both know, you and I, 10 to 20 realtors that have been hugely successful with the video marketing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One of the highest income earners that you or I know has built his entire business off of video marketing in the state of Texas. And
absolutely.
It's the number one thing he does, and he's a 7-digit income earner every year. And I don't know.
Well, Jessica, I think it's Jessica Edwards over in, I think, North Carolina or South Carolina. She's like so well known across the whole U.S. She's a real estate agent. You Google Jessica Edwards, and you're going to see she does videos in her car. I'm sure you guys have seen her. Everywhere she goes, like whether she should be doing it in her car or not, she is, but she's got a little mount and she's got her phone there, but she's so well known that she's blown her business up just from doing videos.
Well, we have many examples like that, but video marketing obviously is hugely important. Teaching classes, again, it comes down to what class are you going to teach and to who, and if you don't have a strategy around getting the room full to teach a class for 2 people that are both unqualified, doesn't make any sense. You know, it's a waste of time. But to teach a first-time homebuyer seminar with a strategic plan wrapped around the attendance of that event with other area professionals, a lender, a title agent, whatever else you have at your disposal, you know, we know that one realtor that we need to keep nameless, but a large part of their business is their financial advisors invite their wealthy clients' children to the first-time homebuyer seminars, and it's working for them.
Right.
You get tons of leads from that every year. And you know, things like that, that proper use of Facebook, little things like you've taught me how to do. Go on and like and comment on something every day. I do it personally early in the morning because I get up so darn early.
Right.
Good thing to do. And I just hit a lot of likes, and I type little things into people. It makes them feel good. They like when you take an active interest in their life. You know, we have tons of examples of that. What would you say in regards to text messaging?
So really what it boils down to is how I look at it or how I treat it is, how do you treat your friends? Do you call your friends all the time? No. Do you text your friends most of the time? That we're in a texting world. That's just how it is. Hey, hope all is well. Have a great day. Like every morning, there's a couple of us that text each other every single morning to say good morning. That's just what friends do. So like whatever you do with your normal friends, think about it, and it's work. Trust me, it is. You have to think about it. You have to put it on your schedule. You have to time management. You have to do that. But if you had 10 clients that are out looking for homes, and you every morning sent them a favorite, hey, here's a great morning to get your morning going. A friend of mine's done this. I just love it. I almost hate it when I don't get it. It's like, man, dude, what's wrong with him? Is there something wrong with him? He didn't send me his, the song of the day. We have the song of the day club that we text each other the song of the day, and it's a lot of fun. And so be a part of their lives in some way, shape, or form. If you have people looking for homes, you have past clients, like if you just go on Facebook and like or comment like, oh my God, looks like so much fun, awesome, beautiful, congratulations, good luck. I mean, all this, just be a part of their lives. Everybody goes back and goes, who's that? Oh yeah, that's my real estate agent that sold me the home, or that's my real estate agent that I'm working with to look for a home. Just to be a part of their lives is so crazy. People don't feel appreciated anymore. And when you like or comment on their stuff, they now feel appreciated, and you're one of the select few that they actually will. You'll find them come back and comment on your stuff, like your stuff. It's just so crazy how that stuff works. And the text message is the same way. When you're getting to know someone, text them, hey, I was just cruising by this street sign and thought of you guys. How's it going? Have you found anything that you would like to go see? And a little text message like that throughout the day, I was thinking about you, thought of you, hey, appreciate you guys. It was so nice to meet you. Little things like that go a million miles. I can't even tell you how powerful it is. And then LinkedIn, just give good tips and tricks. If you put out crap, that's what's going to come back. So just I don't know if you guys have ever been to Pinterest, but if you go to Pinterest and put in home tips, home decorating tips, or just tips, or freaky tips, or whatever, you'll find all kinds of really cool stuff to put out there that is actually good information. Or you'll find vacation tips, or garage tips, or garage door tips, or front door tips, or anything you can think of that has to do with a home, or not necessarily a home, winter tips, driving tips, safety tips. Anything you can think of is out there. Put that stuff out there and trying to get into their normal everyday lives and be a part of it, and that's just one way to do it. Customer appreciation days, Kevin, you guys are amazing at that, and we did one not too long ago where we flew all our head honchos in, and they took part in appreciation days, and and it was a 2-day event. We all sat around a round table brainstorming what's happening, what can we do better, what can we do more as a team, what can we, just how can we help more people, or with your clients. I know a lot of agents that do customer appreciation days where they like rent a jungle gym where they all bring their family and kids and do cake and ice cream and just jump on these large, huge monster jumping apparatuses for 2-3 hours. That's been a huge thing. So, and then of course happy hour, you can never go wrong.
Yeah, as a realtor, that was our biggest. It was costly, but that was the best thing we did, was that client appreciation picnic every year, and it just kept growing and growing, and we had hundreds and hundreds of people at it, and yeah, it got a little bit pricey, but it really took
right? Worth the money, wasn't it though?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
It was good for a few referrals every single year, guaranteed.
Yep. So I took a couple notes afterwards. So deliver some news that you can use, that they can use. Offer unusual gifts, like a lottery ticket. Hey, I was at the store the other day just thinking about you guys. Wanted to send you some luck. Hope you win. 3 days later, you pick up the phone. Hey, did you guys win? Oh, no, we didn't. Oh, man, I was in the store the other day thinking about you and hope, man, I was hoping. Hey, so how's the family, recreation, occupation, goals? Hey, and somebody Cindy brought up a good question. She goes, don't you chase your clients away when you're calling asking for referrals like that? Absolutely. Yeah. Guys, we're in sales. Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, it depends how you ask,
Correct.
I think that the straight, hi, I haven't talked to you in 4 years, do you know anyone that wants to buy a house? That's right. A difficult thing to say,
Right, absolutely.
I don't recommend that. But to me, it's more about a strategy. Do you have a strategy where that's not becoming an uncomfortable call to make or receive? And that's, I think, where we see the highest number of people fall short, is just the lack of, at the end of the day, each person on this call is the president and CEO of Me Inc., right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're the head of sales, you're the head of marketing, you're the head of finance, you're the head of every part of your company, and that gets daunting at times, and it's overwhelming. But because of that overwhelmingness, sometimes we fail to implement a strategic plan. And every successful business I've ever seen or been part of has a strategic plan that is reviewed and edited and changed, but they have one and they work towards it. So I don't recommend picking up a list of people you haven't spoke to in a decade and saying, who do you want to refer to me? No, I think that call would go horribly. I think you'll get lackluster results at best. But if you implemented a strategy where talking to them or hitting on them in a systematic fashion wasn't offensive or abnormal to them, they will gladly give you someone. And even if most of them are going to say, I don't know anyone right now. We all know that. Question is, are you top of mind to them or not? And so it's not so much about the intrusion of the call, because you're right, whoever asked that question, that is a difficult call to make, and you're going to stop making it after 4 or 5 when people are like, who are you? That deal went horrible. Well, I remember you. You could have got me that house cheaper. No, they're not going to. So it's more about a strategy around creating traffic than it is about that call.
So think about this. So say that you were to start emailing your database once a week. You were to snail mail them once a month. You were connected with all of them on social media and participated in their interactions, like, comment, just be a part of their lives. And then you called them every 3 months. Do you think you'd get any pushback, being that you were doing those 4 things? And you know what, Kevin? What's the worst thing that could happen if you call them? What's the worst thing? Stop calling me, take me off the list, right? You just can't take it personal. Barbara Cochran said the most powerful thing. She goes, the difference between a $40,000 a year income real estate agent and a $4 million a year income agent is how fast you recover from the no's or the bad, whatever happens.
Yep.
You can't take it personal. It's not like they hate you. It's just one person. I don't know why. If we're in a room of 100 people and 99 are cheering and one in the back room is going, you suck, we focus on the one person. When we need to focus on the 99 that are going, you're awesome, instead of the one that says you suck. So just kind of, and trust me, it's hard to overcome that. Kevin has helped me with that a lot. And we all have those moments where, like, oh my God, like I can't believe they said that to me. But it's just not. It's 99% of the time it's not us that they're just something going on in their life where we hit them at a bad time or just a wrong time. So don't take it personal. Call to action. Man, this is so important. This is the number one thing, and you have, like, we all go, man, I can't sound salesy, but we're in sales. We have to, in a cool way, like Kevin already addressed, we have to ask for business. And there's this came up, Kevin, you brought this to my attention. I didn't even see it, and I blocked out the name, but it says, the moment that my family, my uncle, my blood, he's also godfather to my daughter, I also grandmother to a son, informed me via text, no less, that they listed their house that is 25 minutes away from me for $1.1 million with another agent, and there's an open house this weekend. Living that moment now, I feel like I have been hit by a train and might throw up. Shock.
Yeah, that's happened to many of us, right?
Absolutely.
But the key is you can get mad at the uncle here, or what is it, uncle?
Uncle, yeah.
Or you can get retrospective on what did you do over the time to minimize the likelihood of that happening? And it all comes down to a plan. If something happened here where that uncle either didn't feel comfortable listing with a family member, or, we all have people like that. I have plenty of people that don't want to do business with me because they don't want me to know their finances or whatever, But the question goes back to the second part of this call, the relationships. What has been done? Does the uncle know that this person's the best realtor in town? At the end of the day, the uncle probably wants to get what? The highest amount of money for the sale of his home at the shortest amount of time and the fewest number of inconveniences, right?
Absolutely.
If they knew that person was the best to do that, maybe it was a different story. So to me, that reverts immediately back to the relationship one, because we're all going to have this happen to us. We all have had this. If you've been doing this long enough, every one of us has one of these stories. So that this isn't about the uncle, it's about us.
Yeah, I personally don't like to work with family because I want to keep my family relationship. And so if I was to list the home, I don't care how much it is. It's like I care more about my family relationship than I do a sale of a home. Sure, it's money, but I don't know. It's just nothing. Very seldom does it work out right. If it's a car, it's a different story. But man, when you're talking about someone's home and like all that stuff, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I have a father that owns a bunch of homes, a father-in-law, and to have anybody in our family, like, he asks me for help all the time. I'm like, man, it's just not what I do. It's just not what I do. And so it's like, well, you need to hire a professional, because they all want as much, like, I don't know, you said it the best, Kevin. They want as much as they can get, the least amount of work and the least amount of headache, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And as a family, I'm going to tell them exactly how it is. I'm going to tell them this is what it's worth. It's not worth what you wanted. This is what it's worth. And then that might cause a dispute. It might cause an argument. It's not worth it to me. So
all comes
I wouldn't
back
get so upset.
The relationship, and not getting mad about this, is using it as a teaching opportunity for what could I have done better to have increased the relationships that I have in general, so that the people want to instinctively call me first, even if they don't listen to me. Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What's your advice? You know?
Right. Todd was just joined us. Thank you for being here, Todd. He said, did anybody bring up a housewarming party? So just going back to this right here, building relationships, housewarming party. I think it's one of the best ideas on planet Earth. I don't know why we didn't think of that. We talk about it all the time, but to spend, I don't know, buy everybody pizzas. Hey, when you're ready and moved in, let me know, and I'll send out the postcard for you. Just give me a list of your friends, family, coworkers. We'll do an event on Facebook, and oh my God, that'd be huge. To use social media, to use handwritten notes, and we're going to give you a little idea for that. To get everybody in the house to introduce who you are, buy the pizzas. Say it costs you a couple $100. That couple $100 will probably make you a couple thousand down the road. Building relationships with other people that own homes. So great idea, Todd. Thank you. All right, so there's the call to action. So you just got to do it. And unfortunately, if you're just calling up, like Kevin said, to say, hey, I haven't called you in 4 years. Do you have any leads for me? That's probably not the best way to do it. But if you start involving yourself and just say, hey, who of your friends, family, or coworkers can I help with the purchase or sale of a home? And it's just part of sales. It's who we are. So follow up, weekly phone calls. You want to cover this, Kev?
Well, yeah, follow-up, obviously, it's funny because we spend so much time and money and investing in our businesses, and then most of us, our clients like us, right? Most people that we've spent, if you're driven them around to 30 houses and you've been in a car with them 4 consecutive Saturdays and Sundays or whatever it may be, they like you. And then do we do a great job following up with all of these strategies? If you hang around Scotty long enough, you're going to hear 100 different strategies that none of them are bad. The question is which ones you're going to implement. And follow-up, to me, why not consistently stay in good graces with people that already know you, like you, and trust you versus continually trying to create new clients? You should always try to create new clients, but you've got a lead-in with a group of people that already like you. And so most folks don't follow up with their database as well as they would like to, and there are strategies out there that would allow you to do that systematically and without a ton of work done by yourself, others actually doing the work. Scotty, I don't think this is any secret, but you have a large number of people that help you contact people that appear that they're contacting on your behalf, right?
Absolutely. Virtual assistant all day, every day. Yep.
Yeah, so you have that in place every day in your business, and many times, or almost every time, it's not actually you doing anything. It's someone else doing something on your behalf, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
So I just think follow-up makes that next call not real hard. If you have a consistent follow-up plan, and if you truly are great at what you do for a living, sometimes we lose focus. What are the 3 most important things most people do in their life? Is get married, have children, and buy a home, right?
Right, absolutely.
So everyone on this call plays a leading role in one of the 3 biggest decisions they ever make in their life, but we sometimes minimize it to the word deal and transaction instead of celebration and all that. But there's so many follow-up things. I get a little thing in my house that regularly says, hey, just FYI, currently 9 homes for sale in the sub, average sales price, average list price, $163 per square foot, average sales price, $149, whatever it may be. It's good, useful information. I like reading it,
It's funny you bring up that wedding thing. So I was at a wedding this last weekend, and there was 186, 190 people there. So I got to know a bunch of them, a lot, like a lot of them. So I talked and danced and just communicated and made myself open to communication with it. My wife's like, how do you do this? I was like, man, it's just who I am. It's what I do, right? And if you're in sales, this is what we do. So think about this, though. So I met, there's 186 people. And if I met 10 new people, they're all of age to they're all getting married or are married or have homes. And so the first thing I did was I went to my friends that got married page, seen who was at the wedding that I recognized that I had a conversation with, connected with them on Facebook and said, hey, it was so awesome meeting you. It's just so awesome to be a part of, an awesome couple, and really appreciate all the, everything you did. Talk soon or whatever. And that was it. Like, hey, yeah, it was so awesome meeting you too. And so now I'm just starting the relationship. I didn't say, hey, I'm in real estate. Hey, can you, do you want to buy or sell a home? I'm starting the relationship. So now I'll go on there, or somebody that I hired to go on there as me, with me, like stuff, comment on stuff, let me know if they're talking about this, that, or that, whatever, and give me cues, or I'll go on there and just follow them. It's 10 people that I guarantee you positively I can get either get their business or a referral from over the next 6 months, guaranteed, because they have 200 friends. And so 6 people or 10 people times 200 is 2,000. That's 2,000 people that I could possibly be in front of just by building 10 new relationships. It doesn't take hundreds and hundreds of people to have an amazing business or get referrals or help people buy homes. And that's what I'm trying to say is, don't go right for the sale. Go for the relationship first, unconditional relationship without any expectation of anything in return, and amazing things happen. Because eventually they're going to go, what do you do? I'm like, well, here's what I'm known for. Don't say here's what I do. Here's what I'm known for. Make sense? I'm known for helping people get into a home or helping people find the home of their dreams and creating memories. Awesome.
Yep. Well, it's like little tiny things. I know whenever I'm with you personally, and physically, like in the same room, and someone says, do you have a business card? I love, you just laugh and say, what's a business card? What's your cell phone number? And they give you the cell phone number, and then 2 seconds later you say, you now have my mobile, contact sheet or whatever the heck you call it on your phone. They're like, how the hell did that happen? They all have the same reaction. They all say, oh my God, that's so cool. Can I get one of those? Every one of them.
Exactly. Exactly. Start the conversation.
It's just a conversation starter, and it just, I don't know. It's all about those 4 things. It's just traffic, it's relationships, it's a call to action, and it's follow-up. But it most importantly, it's having a plan around those 4 things. How many times have you and I, remember the stopwatch thing you made me do?
Oh, yeah, you should do this. Yeah, why don't you talk to them about that?
Well,
stopwatch. This is really good.
How many of you on this call have someone in your office that you've heard say, I work 70 hours a week? It's probably a lot of you.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you might say it. And then I've heard that 100 times, especially in real estate. I hear it quite a bit. And when you think about 70 hours a week, that's a lot of hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how many of those hours are spent at the office just looking at Facebook and not having a Facebook strategy, or talking to someone who's never going to buy a house from you about God knows what, or doing things that have nothing to do with the creation of revenue? For many people, it's a lot. And so I remember when you made me put on that stopwatch around my neck, and each time, the whole day, I was doing a revenue-producing activity, I hit the go button, and each time I was doing a non-revenue producing activity, I had to stop it. If you ever tried that for a full week and were honest with yourself when you hit the button or not, you'd be shocked at how many hours people actually work versus how many people vacation at work. There's a difference. And so I just think it's about the strategic plan and taking all of these 4 areas, the traffic, the relationship, the call to action, the follow-up, and having a plan for your business that you're president and CEO of that makes certain that one of those 4 things is being worked on, the majority of the hours of the week. And most people that do that have a very fruitful business.
Absolutely. Somebody, Cindy comes up and says, hey, what CRM system do you? And I have which one? It's like whatever one you're going to use. Like they all pretty much do the same. They all accomplish the same thing. The problem is that we get them and then we go, oh, okay, it's not going to do it. But you have to make it part of your system. You have to make it part of your process. When you get a new lead in, they have to go in there some way, shape, or form, whether it's somebody running your CRM system for you or one that you already have in place. You just have to condition yourself to use it. You have to make it a habit. And really, it just, for me, it would boil down to slowing down a little bit and either doing it myself or having somebody come to me for 5 minutes and go, okay, give me the names, email address, and phone numbers of everybody that you talked to today so I can make sure they're in your CRM system. Either way, it works. There's no right or wrong CRM system, I don't believe. As long as it sends emails, as long as it gives you notes that you can update on different clients, when you called them, how you contacted them, if you communicated with them by text or Facebook or LinkedIn or however you did. You just need to keep track of that stuff, especially the hot ones. We call it A-list, B-list, C-list. You have to be able to keep track of where they're at and what they're doing and where they're at in the process. So no right or wrong on the CRM system. A lot of people use Top Producer. There's just so many. All I ask is that you just pick one and use it to the fullest that it can be used. There's some Cadillacs out there and there's some simple ones. I'm into the simple ones because a lot of the Cadillacs, they're just so much stuff that you just never use that much. The basics are handwritten notes, text messages, snail mails, and emails. If it does that, that's really what and then just keep track of who you're connecting with. We did a class a couple weeks ago on marketing your database, or I think it's called farming your database. If you didn't get a copy of it, just contact the loan professional that's sent you here, and we'll get you a copy of it. But it talks about the actual exact things to do. We're seeing 1 to 3 referrals per 100 per month out of our database, just because of the way we're connecting with them, with the handwritten letters and notes, the snail mail once a month, and the emails once a week, and then the phone calls every 90 days. So. And then Kevin brought this up to me. This is a really cool. You have to go check this out. You have to watch the video. So it's called hellobond.com. If you don't want to handwrite something, this thing does it for you. It's pretty cool. So there's a little. I just did a snapshot of it, and the actual website's pretty cool because the video is playing the whole time. So, but watch the video on how it works. And Kevin, you brought this up yesterday. It's a machine that actually handwrites it for you, and they'll actually use your handwriting if you want to, which. Mine's horrible, but still it'd be my handwriting, so at least it'd be spelled correctly, right?
Well, I think the bigger thing was you and I talked about how many times do you get a handwritten thank you note? Not enough, right?
Never. Yeah, not enough.
But when you do get one, what do you immediately do? You prop it up on your desk and you have it angled the right way, and everyone does it, right? I got some right now I'm staring at my desk, and people just love it, and we don't write them. We just don't write them. This thing writes them for you with a pen. It looks awesome.
Right. It looks awesome.
I think they're about $1 each or $1.50 each or something. It's nothing. It's basically free. You get 5 or 10 of these done a week for $10 or something, and people love getting them.
Yep. So man, that's let's see. Let's go back to So I guess to finish this off, the question is, where's your bottleneck? And I would love to see, for the people on this call, there's a bunch of people on this call, like, where do you think your bottleneck is? And I would love to see if it's kind of one and the same, or if it's all over the place. If you're, I won't say any names or anything, but where's your bottleneck? And I'll put up here like the different ones. But is it traffic? Is it relationships? Like how they feel about you when they come in? Is it the call to action? Or is it the follow-up? Or is it all a little bit of each? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. I would love to see where that is, because that might dictate the next class that we do as far as what your thoughts are, where your bottleneck is. And there's, again, you could be closing 10 deals a month and still, like, you have to have a bottleneck. There's somewhere, shape, or form, because it's one of, so it looks like follow-up is the big one, traffic and follow-up. So traffic, and they'll be the top two, okay? Looks like follow-up's a big one. So, and if anybody else wants to come out of there, I'd have to say making the calls every week. Yeah, that's definitely a tough one. And it's not every week. It's once every 90 days to your database. We'll cover a couple things on the follow-up thing, I think. Relationships, struggle with the traffic and the follow-up on most. Looks like follow-up's the number one, Kevin.
Follow-up and traffic are always the number 1 and 2 because,
absolutely,
like we said, most folks get busy in a day, and I think, the age-old adage that you and I have struggled, no, not you so much, but I struggle with, still to this day, is the time blocking to do the stuff. Follow-up's not hard.
Correct.
It's just you get to the end of the day and you look up
at
at 5:30, your kid's got a baseball game, you say, I got to go. And the question isn't really, is follow-up hard? It's, I never take or make the time to do it. And I think that, it is hard too if you have nothing to say. So we got to create better things to say and do, and then more importantly, or equally as importantly, the time to do it that's non-negotiable. That, I'm sorry, buddy, down the hall, that your guy just went Fizbo on you. I can't talk to you about that today. I'm in follow-up mode, and it's my green time, and I work right now. I don't have time to listen to that story about the guy that bought the FSBO. I don't. And so I know that's hard to do. I worked in a real estate office for a decade. I know I've heard every story under the sun. But the question is, do you block the time to do the follow-up? And that kind of stuff is harder to do than it is to say. So
awesome. Well, next week, just so you guys know that are on the call, I'm gonna put a lot of heart and soul into the follow-up part of it because I have a lot of good stuff. Obviously, I don't have time today, but I'm gonna do a class next week on follow-up, and I'll give you guys all kinds of really cool ways, scripts, different systems, different processes that I think will work for you that we've been using in our own mythology. So let's do that, man. Sounds good, Kevin. I sincerely appreciate your input and expertise, and appreciate you being part of our lives. As always,
anytime I can help you out, brother, you can call me any day of the week.
Thank you so much, man. So let's see, Suzanne, feeling that I am going to give a okay, cool. So all right, guys, thanks so much. Appreciate you being here. If you joining us for the first time, join us on facebook.com/groups/agent mastermind. We're at almost 15,000, if not 15,000 right now, and growing. Only real estate agents get in. We check your profile to make sure there's something in there that has to do with real estate. So if there's not, make sure there is so we can get you in there. And just so you know, the questions that you ask inside the private group are 100% private. They don't go to your friends, family, or coworkers. They stay inside the group. So if you're a member of the group, you're going to see only questions of members inside the group, all right? And the collaboration is just amazing. So I appreciate everybody helping out there. And we'll see you same time, same place right here on Agent Mastermind next week. Everybody have a great rest of the week and safe weekend. Bye-bye.